want to be in, then this is what you need to be sure happens and what you need to do. When is the right time to start a team? Okay, you may have asked that question already. Here are some points that I want to bring out. When is the right time? You have more leads than you can service. The leads are rolling in, even turning some down because of the time and resource limitations that you have. Your work-life balance is suffering because you're successful, and that might be the time for you to consider a team, is because you've got so much business, you've had to turn some down, which nobody ever wants to do, but I've heard of that. Your production has plateaued. In other words, you seem to have reached, it's like dieting or exercising. You get to a point where you start losing weight and all of a sudden you feel like you've plateaued, and for a while, no pounds are coming off. It's the same thing here. Has your business plateaued? You may be on the cusp of taking your business to the next level in terms of clients, service, and your commission. Your workload is holding you back. Your workload should be actually pushing you forward. It shouldn't be holding you back. So that might be another sign. So when you find yourself too busy to hunt for new business, then you know it's time to hire and expand your business. Let me repeat that. When you find yourself too busy to hunt for new business, then you know it's time for you to hire and expand your business. And so now we're going to look at what are the pros and the cons of either starting a team or joining a team. The green obviously is the pro and the yellow is the con. So let's start with the pros. It's easier to get clients when you're part of a team, no question. You can develop your skills a whole lot faster, no question, because you're being trained. That's what the mentoring program is all about, that we'll talk about today. You will have fewer expenses, no question. It'll cost you less money. Another pro, access to a large database of shared knowledge. If there's 5 members, 10 members, however many members are on this team, it's wonderful to have all these minds that can participate in sharing their information and their key to success. You get to work on your brand, every day. So you're getting to work on the brand every day. Now let's take a look at the cons. Brand definition might be in the way. In other words, you're not promoting yourself. It's the brand of the team that you're promoting. So brand definition is going to get in the way of your own brand when you join a team. Different personalities. Because a team, obviously, there are different personalities, and sometimes that works, and sometimes there's part of the team that aren't working quite in sync, and that can be an issue, something to think about. So you got to make sure your personality fits with the team. Get ready for a smaller commission cut. Obviously, when you're part of a team, your commission cuts are smaller, but you should be making up for it in the fact that you're getting more leads than less leads when you're on your own. You are part of a group identity, and to some, that's not as good as having your own personal identity, but you're part of a group identity, and you are branding the team and you're not branding yourself. So some of the cons and some of the pros. So you need to think about those when you're thinking about a team. In the team model, again, is it right for you? Here's another thing, your startup capital. If you are looking yourself to start a team, this model may not be for you if you don't have significant startup capital. Remember, when you're going to build a team, you got to know that you have money behind you, because some of the things that we're going to talk about today cost money. And in order to develop that team and start building that team, expensive. Most expensive of all models is to set up and operate, can be significant financial risk if you don't get it right. So if you start a team and you really weren't ready for it, there is and possibly can be a financial risk for you. You may lose the investment that you put into it, the money that you put into it. And we don't want that to happen. So that's why this course is so important, to help you understand the things you have to take into consideration to make it a success. Overpay. Common mistakes is the desire to overpay team members and employees. You're going to have both people that are going to be on a commission basis, and you're also going to have, when you start a team, people that are on salary. So you're going to have a mixture of both. So one of the big problems that I've seen is oftentimes the person who has started the team has too many people on salary and doesn't have the payment of these people that you're hiring under control, and either they leave and or you've just overpaid them, and your share of being able to manage the business and run the business is not enough. So you have to be very careful. It's a common mistake to overpay team members and employees because you were trying to attract them and you want to retain them. So you think it's all about paying them a lot of money. And so be careful. We'll talk about that today. Effectiveness. Another risk is that advertising techniques, sources, and messaging can become less effective over time. So you've always got to learn how to be able to mix it up and remain effective. Again, we'll talk about that. Leads. This may leave you scrambling to find new lead sources and maintain your production goals when you have a team, because remember, when you have a team, you got to be bringing in the leads to be able to fund that entire team. So make sure I'm sure taking that very well into consideration, and we'll talk more about that as well. Now, here's some mistakes that I want you to think about, because I don't want you to make these mistakes. And part of them are what we just talked about. Training. New people take time. If you're bringing in new people that are just licensed in the last 3 months, 6 months, whatever, new people take time to train professionally. Poor training programs disrupts sales and development. And so training is a big part. And remember, one of the good things is that, we have the training program, and when you're hiring people, you can take advantage of some of the HomeLife training programs that they should be automatically, forced to take some of the major training programs. All of them that you hire need to take that training, and so it should be mandatory. Hiring. Many leaders believe they're great at hiring and spotting talent, but once they get in that situation, they realize they're not. So it's very important to know that you know how to recruit. Recruiting is a big, big part of what building a team is all about. Recruiting the right people. They can't all be exactly the same, and we'll look at all of that today. Systems. Lack of proper systems in place to manage the business, the responsibilities of people, to manage the sales that are coming in, to manage the leads, to manage the follow-up, to manage the servicing. So there has to be systems in place. And if you're trying to develop a team and you don't have any systems in place, this is a big problem. Tracking, very important. Now, a lot of systems that are out there, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. There are systems out there that are already in place that you can take advantage of, that you can pay to bring to have a system put into place. And most of them have a tracking built into it. This is where you get to see, the metrics of where the business is coming from, how you're getting that business, your goals, your objectives, all of that, making sure that you're on track with exactly the kind of business, the development of the business, and all of that means you got to be recording. You can't manage what you don't, if you don't, track, you can't manage properly. So it's very important to understand that. I'm going to take a drink of water. Fear. Trying to avoid mistakes means taking no risks, and being taken opportunities can get lost as a result of that. So I always say to people, remember, anything that is worth getting and the kind of success that you want is just on the other side of fear, if you know what I'm saying. It's just on the other side of fear. So fear might be holding you back, but once you crash through that wall, once you break through that wall of fear, that's where the success is. So it's overcoming those fears and not letting them hold you back. Again, we talked about salaries, too many salaried employees. Consistent salaries are in an inconsistent market can cause financial issues. Let me say that again. When you have too many salaried employees, consistent salaries in an inconsistent market can cause financial issues. So remember, as good as our market is, markets change. And once you have a team, again, very important that you think long range. Hyper focus, placing too much emphasis on tech gadgets and system could mean you're ignoring the basics. In other words, yes, you need to have system in place. Yes, you need to use technology, but if all you're doing is worrying about the technology and worrying about the systems and not doing the single most important thing, which is generating leads and having that in place, that's going to come back to haunt you as well. Recovery, accepting minor setbacks as failures and learning to dust yourself off. And mistakes are going to happen. It doesn't mean the end of the world kind of thing. You know, mistakes are going to happen. I mean, take a look at, here we are 2 years into and 2.5 years almost into the pandemic, and everyone thought real estate and everything was going to crash. It was, in the beginning when it happened, it was doom and gloom. And take a look. I mean, there are a lot of businesses that are in business today because of the pandemic, and companies have made so much money. So it's, being able to accept setbacks is extremely important. It's not how you win, it's how you lose that keeps you in this business. If you don't know how to lose well, that's going to put you out of the business. You got to know how to lose. Costs, underestimating the cost to run a business and to run a team is extremely critical. So these are some of the mistakes that we want to make sure you avoid. So there are 4 qualifications to be to develop a team and to know how to mentor that team. Number 1, leadership and management. Remember, a team leader is in fact a manager. You have to have leadership skills and management skills. Number 2, recruiting skills and lead generation skills. And we're going to talk about all of these. 3, you got to be a lister. In other words, you got to be the kind of real estate agent who believes that listings are the most important and have always wanted to get more and more listings. So you got to be a listing agent. And number 4, of course, marketing and sales. Marketing. Understanding that it's not about marketing your listings. It's about marketing your business to generate leads, not just marketing the listings that you have for sale. So it's marketing and sales. So you got to be a great leader. You got to be a great recruiter. You got to be a listing agent, and you got to be a marketing professional. Those are the 4 most important parts to being to build a team and knowing how to mentor that team. So management and team leadership skills. Here are the skills that I want you to think about. Interpersonal skills. Because you're working with the team, all the different personalities, you got to know how to be able to blend with everyone. Some people developed a team in a real estate company, myself, had 150 people at one point. Believe me, some agents need a boot in the butt. Some people need a stroke on the back. Some people need a pat on the back. Some people need a hug. The bottom line is you got to know how to be able to figure out what works with each individual that is a part of your team. And that means getting to know them. It means becoming very personal, not necessarily in all ways, but you know what I mean, understanding their personalities so that you can work and give them what they need. Leadership, knowing how to take the ball and take the bull by the horn and do the job. It's not about excuses. It's not about, the market isn't good. It's too busy. Everything's selling too fast. You can't be the person. If you're going to be in the leadership role, there is no such thing as negativity in leadership. It's all about state of mind, positive attitude, and knowing how to keep your agents positive and on track when they get down, when they get depressed. You got to be able to be the one that is the electrical outlet for them to plug into. And that's what I mean by leadership. Communication, knowing how to communicate properly, knowing how to motivate people, knowing how to make them excited, knowing how to build their enthusiasm in trying something new. Taking a drink of water. Hiring the right talent and knowing what you need in order to make this team and your mentoring skills and knowing how to build this team to be successful. You got to know the right people to hire, the right departments to have. We're going to look at all of that. Organizing the team objectives, what this person is going to do and what their responsibility is and what the next person is going to do and what their responsibility is. There should be responsibilities set out for each person that's a part of that team. Planning, getting the group involved in planning, getting the team involved in planning. Goals, knowing what your short-term goals, knowing what the long-term goals are, knowing what area that you're going to focus on, what type of client that you're looking for, what your niche is, kind of thing. It's all part of the planning and the decision making. Delegating tasks. Let me tell you, you can't do it all. And there are so many skill sets that are needed today in real estate, even as an individual agent. You got to know who you are. You got to know what you're good at. I can tell you right now, if somebody asks me, what am I not good at? Organization. I am terrible when it comes to organization. That's why I've always had someone to do that for me, because I'm bad at it. Sticky notes and little notes all over the place. But, when you have someone who's organized and knows how to be able to organize systems and a business, then it makes such a difference. So that was always my worst. Delegating tasks comes in when whatever it is that you're not skilled at or whatever it is that needs to be delegated, you got to realize that you got to know to delegate it. Assess performance of the team. In other words, is the team on the right track? Are the sales coming in the way they should be coming in? Are the leads coming in the way they should be coming in? Are the emails coming in as they should be in? Are we, what is the response like? How's the conversion working? So you got to know how to assess the team and assess each individual of that team. So you should have regular meetings, one-on-one and group meetings. And as I say, set goals and expectations, monthly goals, yearly goals, quarter yearly goals, and as I say, and the long-term 3-year, 5-year, 10-year goals. Very, very important. The management side and team leadership side. All of these things are part of what a good team leader needs to realize and needs to know how to manage. Very, very important. Now, team leader model, I want to make sure you understand, relies heavily, I want to remind you, heavily on advertising to generate consistent leads for the team members to manage and convert. So here's what you got to understand. You got to understand it's not just about cold calling and door knocking. It's about everything. Okay. It is about making phone calls, but it's also about Google ads, pay-per-click ads, knowing, again, what the customer you're targeting, the person the persona that you're trying to reach, the type of, are you looking for buyers? Are you looking for sellers? Should be looking for both. YouTube, huge part of your business. Video. Oh my God, huge part. And nothing better than having YouTube ads and spending. I'm telling real estate agents, you need to start looking at YouTube as part of your advertising. You've seen them. Have you ever gone on YouTube looking for some video of some sort to whatever it is you're looking for? And before the video starts, a little ad appears. And sometimes it counts down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And sometimes a little skip ad message comes up and you can hit the skip ad and it'll directly take you to what you were looking for. Sometimes the ad does not have a skip ad, and it's going to take usually anywhere between 5 seconds to 30 seconds, depending on the person who's buying that ad and the cost. Obviously, you're going to pay more money if there's no skip this ad, because it forces the person on the other end to watch it. Now, I say to real estate agents, remember, if it's worth watching, you will watch it. I have watched an ad that's like 15 minutes long. You're going to be listening to a webinar that might be an hour and a half, 2 hours long. And if you find this boring, you'll click off. But if you don't find it boring, if it motivates you, you'll stay there. So remember, YouTube is extremely important. And man, can you use them for advertising? Very important to think about that and start investigating. Social media. Remember, there's all kinds of social media platforms out there that are available to you. One of them is called Back at You. There was a webinar that we did from the Back at You people. I'm going to have them back again because we're trying to get a group to come together so we can get a discounted price for the HomeLife people. So we're working on that. But check them out. Back at You. Back at You. They'll do your social media completely. Everything. You don't need to do nothing. And like I said, HomeLife is looking to get a corporate account, but we need a certain number of people to participate in order to make that happen. But we're working on it. Pay-per-click. Very important to understand. If you're a team or you're building a team, you got to understand it's all of these things. You can purchase leads. You can go to Income Real Estate, the company that's managing our website, and purchase leads there. There's all kinds of systems out there. Bold Leads is another company where you can purchase leads, buyer leads, seller leads, or both. And, their job is not to convert them, but you can buy leads. Are you willing to spend $200 a month, $300 a month, $500 a month? Obviously, the more money you pay, the greater lead generation you will accumulate. So remember, that team lead model incorporates all of these things, because your job as the team leader is to make sure the leads are coming in and to make sure they're being filtered to the right people, that they're trained on how to be able to deal with that lead. Step 1, you do this. Step 2, you do this. All of that, okay? And internet promotion, promoting your website here and here and here and here. There's all of these different places. If you go online and you type in real estate directories, what are real estate directories? They're like yellow pages, but they're online. And there's hundreds of thousands, millions of real estate directories online. So if you go to Google and you type in real estate directories and you hit the search field, you'll come up with all kinds of companies, and you click on the link and it's a form to fill out. So you're advertising on this directory, in this directory, in this directory. Some are going to cost you. There's even some that are free. Most are going to cost you. How much? $25 a year, $50 a year, $75 a year. The most expensive one might cost you $200-300 a year, but that's going to be a big directory, like Yahoo, for example. It's a directory. It's a search engine, but it's a directory search engine. It's not. Google is a search engine, but it's not a directory. Yahoo is a directory and a search engine. So you can, again, internet promotion, is very important. So you promote your website here, 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 here. You've got all your social media working for you as well. Purchasing leads from your website. That's Facebook ads, YouTube ads, as we were talking about, Instagram, LinkedIn, all of them. And of course, your own personal database. So what you're doing here is you're building a database for your team from all of these different sources. So you got to make sure there's enough leads coming in every single month, and you got to know how to use them properly and know the rules. So that's where outsourcing comes in, where if you don't know how to do this, you got to find the people that can, and you got to pay them to do it. That's why you really want to make sure you do all of your homework first, look into all of these matters so you know what you're doing. So let's take a look at some team models. This is a pretty basic team model. The CEO right at the top there, team leader, is also the team CEO, and you might have 2 to 3 buyer agents. You might even just start with 1 buyer agent and not 2 to 3, and that it could be a 4-member team instead of a 5-member team, if you know what I'm saying. It could be a 3-member team instead of a 5-member team. So you start where you think you can. If you're at a point where you think, the first thing I need to hire is the administrator, which is the one that is going to handle all of your transactions, to help you put together your CMAs, to, answer the emails, all of that. Remember, you as the professional realtor are the team leader of yourself, or if you're going to develop a team, then you got to be the one who takes responsibility. And in the beginning, you want to start small. So maybe the first step is hiring the right person to do administration for you. And I always say, look for the administrator that is really good with social media. Don't just look for someone who knows how to type. Those days are long gone, okay? What you're looking for is someone who maybe knows how to write, knows social media, is versed in it, and also is very, very administratively astute. And that is your transaction coordinator and your assistant kind of thing, okay? So it doesn't have to be a 5-member team to start, but I'm just saying, normally, if you're going to expand and really develop your team skills, you have 2 to 3 buyer agents, you have a marketing coordinator. The marketing coordinator is the one that's looking at YouTube, looking at Google ads, looking at, promoting your website everywhere, pay-per-click advertising, social media advertising, buying leads. That's what the marketing coordinator is doing together with your direction. You're saying, I don't like this one that we're getting leads from because they're, this is what's happening with the leads from this source, but this source is much better. So you have to work together with that marketing coordinator, overseeing what they're doing, even helping them in where they should be directing more attention and less attention. And of course, the assistant coordinator for the transaction. Now, this is a 6 to 10 member team model. And we're going to look at it now. It's almost in 2 different sections. If you look on the left side, administrative assistant and the operations right at the bottom, and then sales. If you look at the administrative side, okay, executive assistant, operations manager, transaction coordinator, administrative assistant. And now if you look on the right-hand side, you've got the listing agent, you got 2 to 3 buyer agents, you got inside sales, okay, marketing coordinator, and sales, okay? And so you can see it's almost like, let's go to the next slide. That's exactly what you're doing, is dividing your operations as you grow your team. You're developing a team into dividing it into the operation side of the business and the sales side. So, and remember, both are important. The operation side is the business manager. They're the ones that are looking at the marketing manager, where the leads are coming from, how good are they choosing the the type of database. Remember, the beauty about social media, the beauty about the internet today is that you can look for exactly the customer you want. I work the Markham area. I work Durham County. Sorry, water. And therefore, I want to make sure that the leads that we're generating, the listing opportunities we're generating, the buyers that are looking for homes are all geared in the area of business that we specialize in. Always remember, even with the team, don't think you can have a team that manages the entire GTA area. Won't work, will never work for you. You have to pick your area. And it could be West End, but it needs to be very well laid out so you know. So it's the listing manager, the transaction coordinator, that's on the operation side. The listing manager is not necessarily the one going out and getting the listings. They're the ones making sure the marketing is being done on the listing. They're making sure the listing is, when it's uploaded to MLS, the description is correct. They're making sure the for sale signs are up there. They're making sure the leads that are coming in for the listing side are managed correctly. Sorry. Water. Okay. Now on the sales side, you've got a team leader, lead listing agent number 2, telemarketing, showing agent 1, 2, 3. I remember when I've told you this, if you've heard me say this before, because I have talked about it. When I first got into the real estate business, you all know it was cold calling and door knocking. We had 2 brokers of record. Well, 1 broker of record, but they were partners. And one of them that all he did was sit at the back of the room and telemarketed all day long, from 9 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. That's all he did. Nothing else. He got leads. The leads went to the office, and the agents would go out, and that's how they ran their business. And the other guy, the actual broker of record one, would go out with us on listing appointments. And that's how they managed their business. And I can tell you, that's how I learned. And it was the greatest training program I could have ever had, was listening to him, watching him do it, and then having the other gentleman go out on these appointments with us to teach us. So that was a perfect example, but in the day where there was no technology and we didn't have all of the wonderful things that are out there today. So if you look at this, you want to be dividing your operation as you move along and grow your team bigger and bigger all the time. So what is a mentor? A mentor is someone that you brought into your team. They've learned how to generate leads. They've learned how to coordinate leads. Convert leads. And now they're at a point where you can take some of the people that you have hired that have learned, that are starting to bring in successful listings and sales to you, that they can now start training other people within the group. This is how you start expanding. You and I both know there are teams that have 50 people in them. There are teams that have 20 in them. So, you know that they're out there and they're doing 600, 800 transactions a year. Understand that. So all of this is the mentor is responsible for training and making them and turning them into professionals. It's through their coaching and guidance. It's through role playing that is building that mentor is training these people to make more people that are in your team successful. And because that's what you want. You want everyone in the team doing their job at the best level possible. Training in business systems, importance of communication. That's the breakdown. Communication is important in every single solitary business there is. Those of you that are sports enthusiasts, How many times watching basketball do you hear the broadcaster say, well, there was a misplay, lack of communication. They didn't communicate. How many times I've heard that? And every time I hear it, it reminds me the importance of communication in everything, communicating with your clients, communicating with the agents in the office, communicating with the administrators, communicate. Buyer training. It's one thing to teach how to list. You also have to teach how to buy. The secretary who answers the phone, I remember when I had my own office, as I said, I would have to train secretaries. And the first 2 weeks, I'm serious, the first 2 weeks, I pulled my chair directly beside her and the telephone. Remember, that was at a time when there was nothing else but the phone. And I can remember, and today it's still the phone. We just have a lot more other systems that we can take advantage. But I would listen. And the first thing I would say to her, understand one thing. These real estate agents, they don't sell, they don't eat. None of them are paid a salary. It's all about one thing. You, the secretary here, those calls come in, your job are to get phone numbers. I want you to understand, I don't care what the call is for, you need a phone number. And I would hear in the beginning, she'd answer the phone and they'd say, is Gabrielle in? And she'd say, I'm sorry, Gabrielle's not here right now. Can I take a message? And they'd say, no, I'll call back. And the call is over. And I said, now, I'd let her do what she normally does. I'd just say, do what you normally do, and let's hear. So the phone would ring, and this is an example. And I'd say, now, you see, you don't know what she wanted, and you didn't get a phone number. And I said, so here's what now watch when I take that call. This is what I want you to do when you take a call, okay? When someone calls and asks for, I don't care who it is, okay? The call comes in, is Gabrielle there, please? Oh my goodness, she just stepped away from her desk. Give me your number and your name and I'll have her call you right back. And I want you to put that sense of urgency in your voice. She just stepped away from her desk. Give me your name and number, I'll have her call you right back. You see, now it sounds like they're going to call back in a minute or two. And if you know how to be able to that is the single most important thing you need to know how to do. If you do not know how to get a name and number from the phone, we don't need you, because it's the single most important part of your job. And don't ever forget it. And that is what I mean when I say training. Even at the reception desk, I had to train. And then, of course, listing training, presentation skills, knowing how to be able to deliver a great presentation. So when you're a mentor, you have to train them in all of these areas. So you got to know all of these areas really well so that your skill set can train others. That is your responsibility. Now, the team lead real estate systems, when we keep calling about systems, you need team's business plan and goals. If you don't have a business plan, I have one. It's a great one. It's not my own, but it's one of the best real estate business plans out there. It can easily also be used from a team point of view. So email me and I'll send you this business plan. Team's vision and purpose. Again, looking at what, your niche, who do you see as your customer kind of thing. The team brand. Now, remember, you're using the HomeLife logo, the new HomeLife logo, not the old one. You want to be using the new HomeLife logo, but your team needs an identity as well. The team needs a name, and you need to think about that. And you want the HomeLife logo incorporated into your own team brand. And that team brand is going to be on your website. It's going to be on all of your door knocking materials. It's going to be on your newsletter. It's going to be on your social media, your business cards, your letterhead. The team brand together with the HomeLife brand needs to merge, and it needs to be big, bold, and very unique. Okay, so you got to remember marketing and advertising plan. You need to look at month by month by month. How many listings do you want to get? How many sales do you want to get? How many leads do you want to get? What sources are these leads coming from? Again, month by month by month. Where are you going to advertise? Where are you going to market? All of that needs to be laid out on a calendar, not on in your mind. It needs to be on a calendar, okay? So that all team members know what the goal is and they're all pushing for the same thing, cooperating with each other. And CRM, that's a contact relationship management system. It's your database and it's your referral system all in there. And that database is the database is your bank account. That's what I want you to think about it as. Database is your bank account. Names need to be going in there all the time, every single day. 50, 60, 100 names every day. If you're purchasing leads, those leads are going into that database. And then they need to be put on a follow-up system, a farming system, where emails are going out to them, the new newsletters are going out to them, the blogs, their social media. If they have, an email address, you can notify them, send an email. These are, my blog. This is where you can reach me on Instagram, and so on and so on. Listing, inventory, and farming system. You got to know where you're going to get your listings and the farm that you are specializing in. I hate the word farming. Think of it as your employment area, but that's what you're doing. Your niche, as I've said again and again and again. Buyer, where are you going to get your buyers? You need an escrow or lawyers to close deals. Some places use title and escrow. Remember, I teach in both US and Canada. So, and here, as we know, we have closings done by lawyers. Transaction management system, you know that we all have, we have our Rillium system, our HomeLife tech package, which is DocuSign. That's a transaction management system. It's also your email system. You know that. We've got the marketing side. It used to be Imprev. I think it's now called Mix, if I'm not mistaken. They changed their name a few months back. And you've got your website. All of that comes with $39.99 a month, and you definitely should be. Internet blogging, social media marketing, all of that. You want to know that you've got systems in place for that. Financial productivity, as I said, reports every month. How many sales were made? Where did the sales come from? How many leads did you get? Where did the listings come from? And so on. And these reports and forecasts and profitability, all of that is part of managing and developing a team. This comes with it. It's very important that you understand that you have to understand this. So in this, is your system in place? Do you have a business plan? Do you have a branding guide, which your fonts you're going to use, the color palette, your logos, both the HomeLife? If you don't have the HomeLife branding colors and logos, send me an email. I'll send you our branding booklet. It's got all of that in it. Your headers and banners and team photos. Remember, professional photos for your team members. Social media, your website, all of it has to be branded to your team. Productivity tools, the contact management system, your follow-up system, your communication systems, email, text, all of that, is your phone. You want to make sure that you've got their phone numbers, you've got their email addresses, you've got their cell phone information. Your job is to get all that data. You're not always going to get it all right away, but you want to make sure that you're building that, and someone is responsible in your company as part of the team is responsible for the data management, okay? Transaction management system, I just talked a little about that. How will you process all of your real estate transactions? The internet, your internet presence and content marketing, your website, social media accounts, what kind of content will you produce? Who will develop the content? Very, very important. Remember, content has to go every day. They need to be putting social posts 2-3 times a day when you have a team. How do you plan to expand your online presence in the future? These are things that you have to think about, know, and plan. Referral system, how much are you willing to offer for a referral? If the real estate agent is in Vancouver and they've got people moving to Toronto or Mississauga or Brampton or wherever, you got to make sure you have a referral system in place, and have it written down. Have it as an email that you can send out when the person says, I'm looking for someone who can help my client. I just sold their house in BC and they're looking for a house over here. And that's what social media is great for. That's how you find real estate agents from all over. That's why you need them, because that's part of getting leads. And all very important to have a referral system in writing. This is what you do when you get a client. This is how you manage the client. Here's how I'm going to report to you so that you know what's going on. And here's what you will get paid. That is, and it should be in writing. And there's forms for that, as you well know. So the transaction coordinator's responsibility, oversee the process from purchase agreement to the closing, including all documentation, deadlines, communication between the parties. Create, update, and review real estate contracts, and coordinate title, escrow, lawyers, the mortgage loan, the appraisal process, and the home inspection should be on there as well. Need to update that. But you can see this is what the transaction coordinator's responsibilities are. Extremely important. Transaction coordinator, schedule and coordinate the closing process, review the closing paperwork. In some areas of the country, you have to attend closing and obviously attend inspections. Regularly update and maintain communication with clients, agents, lenders, etc. That's also the transaction coordinator's responsibility. Communicate with clients and keep them updated on the status and timeline of the transaction. The last page and this page are all transaction coordinator. Now, hiring and onboarding. Here we go. When you're trying to hire people, remember, you want to sign a non-disclosure agreement. In other words, they have to be willing to come to the company and sign the non-disclosure that anything that our system, the way our system works, they are not allowed to discuss this with anyone else. They're under contract for non-disclosure. Very important. Introduce new member to the team. Make sure they know everybody. Bring them in. Make sure they're personally introduced at one-on-one and in a meeting. Post new member on their social media, on your social media site. So, and on your website, you've got a company website. You've got your office website. You've got, their social media, your social media. You want to make sure that their name and professional photo is updated on all of those, And then, of course, you got to realize that your job is to train them for their position. Now, there might be the transaction coordinator. You're hiring an assistant there. And so you've got two transaction coordinators, and the original one is going to be the one that's going to train the new one, kind of thing. And when you remember how we spread out the system there, and when you start hiring buyer number one and buyer agent number two, the other agents, that's where the mentoring comes in. You get the one buyer agent who's doing very well training the other. Log and demo how to use the business systems. In other words, you want to make sure that all of your business systems are logged, they're in place. There's a log file, a listing, a checklist, a buyer checklist, a closing checklist, a marketing checklist, if you know what I'm saying. It's all there. They all know what next step is. That's how organized you got to be. And again, we talked about the professional photos. Team leads hire and help. Team leads know when they need to hire help, is what I'm trying to say, to help in the prospecting side and help on the lead generation side. This is where you can bring in bold leads. You can bring in companies where you buy the leads, and your job is to, investigate these different systems, talk to the companies, find out how they generate leads, find out what percentage of leads that, get converted. Do they have any data to support that? And so on. So you need, and in multiple areas, you're going to do some lead prospecting on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. On Twitter just got bought by Elon Musk for $44 billion. How nice is that to have someone be able to say, oh yeah, I'll buy that. How much? $44 billion. No problem. Let me write a check. God, it just boggles our mind, doesn't it? Anyways, buyer consultation appointments, follow up to convert leads, that hire people to help you. We can't do it all. That's what the team is all about, is taking our business of real estate and categorizing and individuals to be responsible for certain parts of the business. Doing this person, whenever we're going out on a listing appointment, they're the ones who are going to put together the CMA, because they're really good at it. They do a great job. So he or she is responsible for that. He or she is responsible to make sure all the marketing on the listing is done, that it's on this site and this site and this site and this site. You get the idea. So that is making sure that all the people you hire are able to function in their area, and outsource when you have to. Management, website and social media administrators to handle the transaction, marketing managers to handle all the marketing, content writers. You see, there's all these different areas, but each one is an important part of building this team. I call it the M's of marketing. Message. Remember, it's not just about creating a little social media post. You always want to make sure what is this post what are you trying to achieve? So what message should be on here? Remember, you want those messages to engage people, to intrigue people, to make them want to. You want them to be messages that make them want to subscribe, that make them want to subscribe now, because, geez, I get a lot of great information here. The messages that you send, you got to really be sure that you look at the messages. Are they working? Are they not working? What method? Am I going to email it? Am I going to put it on my website? Am I going to Twitter? Am I going to put them on Twitter? Am I going to put them on all of my social media? Am I going to put them on my my newsletter, on my blog? What method am I going to use? Is it going to be sent out door-to-door material? So again, what method? So it's the message and it's the method. And then it's the market, matching the market, your content. What's happening in the marketplace right now? Well, we all know interest rates are rising, and it's all the rage right now and all the worry for a lot of people. So your message should be geared to what's happening in the world of real estate, and also not necessarily just the world of real estate, but we were talking about COVID for so long. And so you get what your messages have to match what's going on in the world, in the area, in the market. Making an offer. In other words, what I'm talking about here, it's got to make people want to put an offer in, or want to sign a listing with you, or want to have you come in and do a market analysis for them. So it's about getting them to want to make an offer, to want to consult with you. That's what your messages are trying to do. And you're both marketing online and offline. It's all of that. So I call it the M's of marketing. And it sort of puts it all together. Again, this is just condensing the team lead responsibility, management, recruiting, lead generation, online marketing, direct mail, business planning, social media, content development, and website. The creation of the website and continuing to put information. Your website is never finished. Your social media is never finished. Your content is never finished. Your lead generation is never finished. None of this, it's constant. It's always, okay? And that's why it's so important to have in place. All team members need to be trained on how to prospect, generate leads, follow up and convert, conduct buyer consultation appointments, showing properties, writing offers to purchase, negotiate contracts, counter offers, negotiate inspections and appraisals. In other words, every one of your team members need to understand the business as a whole, but there are going to be certain areas that they will fulfill, but you don't want to teach them just to do one thing. Unless they're hired, they're not licensed, and they're hired to be the account person, to manage the accounts kind of thing. Then it's a different situation. But anyone who's hired that's licensed, your job is to make sure they all know how to do everything, because if they all know how to do everything, they're never going to be caught off guard, even though that might not be their role, okay? Team members, activities include managing inbound leads, follow-up, pre-qualifying, setting appointments, preparing documents. Team leaders run their operation like a well-oiled machine. And that is what, when you look at these big teams, trust me, those team leaders, the executive managing that team, believe me, they run it like a well-oiled machine. And we want to make sure that you're able to do that. Team members' activities, managing inbound sales, follow-up, pre-qualifying, setting appointments, preparing documents. Again, this is just part and parcel of the same responsibility, only more responsibilities. The administration responsibility: build, maintain office systems, handles marketing, brand management, process all transactions, build, maintain the database, filter all incoming email, and make sure that they're whittling out the ones that that aren't any good from the ones that have potential. That is all part of the administration's responsibility, as well as manage and storage for all team documents, all the listing docs, all the flyers and amendments and offers and all of that. Managing the budget. Are you on target? Are you over budget? Report the production numbers, how many sales have come in, how many leads have come in, how many conversions have come in, and so on. And if you don't have reports, they have to create them. Manage lead sources and sort and distribute the mail that comes in by the post office as well, managing all of that. Listing manager's responsibility: manage all aspects of sellers' transactions from the first contact to the purchase agreement. Execute steps to list a property under agreements, such as preparing listing materials and pre-listing presentations, coordinate showings, schedule open houses, consult with the seller and coordinate staging the property, repairs if there are any, home improvements, signage, lock boxes, access requirements, other marketing activities required for showing the property. All of that is where the listing manager makes sure the client listing homeowner understands and agrees to showings, and letting the property sometimes short notice. It's not always, and making sure they realize you do not want to turn down showings, because that person that you turned down could very well have been the right person to buy the property. So very important that all of that is executed and delivered, and the messages are told to sellers. Listing manager, also their job responsibilities: provide weekly updates to the seller, feedback, the progress reports, showing efforts, marketing efforts. This is, we've listed here, we've we've had this many showings, we promoted here and here and here and here. Be proactive so clients are kept informed, know what to expect, and feel reassured that they are in good hands. That's the single most important thing, because that's what's going to get you business again. That's what's going to get you repeat business. That's what's going to get you referral business. When people say, man, they were constantly in touch with me, I always knew what was going on. Their communication was top drawer. Input listings into the MLS system, maintain documents and track the progress of each listing, update if necessary, making sure the client database and transaction management systems are all updated with the information and clients are able to access what they're allowed to access. Buyer agent specialists, their responsibility, respond to new leads in a timely manner. And when I say a timely manner, like quickly, okay, and maintain a consistent follow-up to convert. Sometimes it'll take a month to convert, 3 months to convert, 6 months to convert, a year to convert, 2 years to convert, 5 years. You know, my point is, if you've got a great follow-up system and you've got it in place with new information going out that people are happy to get because it's interesting, it's informative, it's engaging, that's follow-up. That's what follow-up is. Manage all leads in contact database, set and complete tasks in the system, track all client communication, identified homes that meet prospective buyers, you know, like all being online, looking at these listings that are coming out every day, and, you know, the agents that are showing houses, you know, you need to make sure that they're kept up to date because there might be more than one. Hey, I know you're working with a client that's looking for A and B. That's not my client, it's your client. You might look at this listing because I think it might fit your client. That's the kind of thing that you want when there's more than one buyer's agent. Stay up to date with real estate market, educate clients about the market trends and the home buying process. There's a checklist of the home buying process. There's a checklist for the home selling process. If you've never taken my digital marketing course, the certified digital agent course, that's all covered in there. If you are taking my buyer professional course, which gives you the buyer professional template that you can use sitting across the table from a buyer, you will get that checklist there. I also have a listing presentation one. All of that are all courses that are available to you. So please, you know, I work night and day to get you great courses. The last thing I want to hear is agents saying, you know, there's not enough courses. I've written about 200 of them and I want you to take them because it's going to help you. Knowledge of the community, knowing what is happening in the Durham County or Oakville or Burlington or Mississauga or Brampton, wherever it is that you work, know how to write and submit offers on behalf of your clients. If I said to you right now, I want to put an offer on this property and I want you to do it right this minute, could you put an offer together for me without having to go to someone to help you? You need to make sure you know how to do that. And you need to make sure you know how to put a good CMA together. So all part of what's responsible for a buyer's agent. Now, inside sales, okay, these people are handling sign calls. If you have an inside sales, okay, they're not doing anything other than working in-house. They're not showing houses. They're not out there, okay? But they're handling all sign calls. They're handling all internet leads that are coming in. They're handling all emails. They're handling all social media posts. They're qualifying the client, their website leads. Their job is to make sure that this client gets qualified, that all leads are being managed, and you are filtering the good ones. So you might get 1,000 leads, you know, over a few months, and you're whittling it down to 200 that are really good, if you follow what I'm saying. And that's through all of these different sources. That's what the inside sales agent is doing. The inside sale must be licensed and they should be experienced. They don't need to be real experienced, but they shouldn't have just walked out of segment 3, if you know what I mean. They sit behind a desk calling prospects and following up on inquiries. So they got to be great on the phone. They got to have great telephone skills, easy to understand, know how to enunciate their words, easy, do not confuse people, know how to explain things, A, B, C, D, and that's where training comes in. Many real estate teams employ unlicensed candidates and have limited sales or real estate experience. They're given scripts and they sound very canned. what you want to do is you want them to be licensed by law. They have to be if they're talking real estate. Okay. It's different if they're making an appointment for you. That's a different thing. I'm calling on behalf of my manager or my agent, Gabrielle Jeans, whoever you're calling for. I'm calling to make an appointment to meet with you, kind of thing. That's different than what an inside sales agent's responsibility is. Okay. If you are going to bring your team, bring in an inside salespeople, it's a pay, salary, and a bonus. Okay. You might have to pay them a little bit, a couple $100 a week kind of thing, but they're going a small salary, but a bonus on any lead that turns into a listing and any listing that turns into a sale, if you follow what I'm saying. So we're going to talk about money in a minute. Make sure they are well trained and they have that you've hired the right people. Top inside sales people can make a huge difference promoting your brand, generating leads, and making a conversion happen. Inside sales people's job is to help the conversion process. That's what it's for. Weekly meetings and awards. Remember, even if you believe in fostering a strong sense of independence in your agents, it is wise to keep all of them grounded to the overall success of your team. Regularly bringing them together every week, even if it's 1 hour, have a little fun, at the same time, open discussions, monetary reward, recognition, significant achievements. You gotta be, boasting and, getting everybody excited when they succeed. Everybody should be excited when they exceed. So let's talk about commission. Commission split, splitting of commission. How, I want you to think about it for a moment now. How will you split commissions with your buyer agents, your administrators, your marketing people, the website maintenance, lead distribution? Will you offer leads to your agents? And if they bring in their own leads, how will the split differ? Remember that as you become a team leader, you also assume the role of manager. So you got to make sure everybody's happy and there's no fighting and backbiting and so on. Your responsibilities, that means that your team members will look to you for guidance as to what processes they will need to follow. So you need to have rules and regulations kind of thing. And, the more I have, an office policy manual, for example, that I could share with you, and then you could read it over and pull some of it to help build some of the rules around your own team kind of thing. But there should be rules, just so everybody's on the same page. A well-organized team has everything. So let's take a look at buyer's agents. If teams generate leads, I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm giving you an example of what is common. If the team brings in a lead through social media, through, internet marketing, through the website, this lead, now the commission is going to be broken up when the listing goes to this person. If it's a listing lead or a buy, it doesn't matter. If it's a buyer lead or a listing lead, 40% of the commission goes to the agent, and 60% comes to the company because it's a company lead that's been given. Okay. Now you can make it higher if you want. I'm just giving you examples of what I've seen out there. Leads generated by the individual agent. So if the individual agent brings in a lead, 60% commission goes to them. Now remember, they're also getting commission from leads that they didn't have to generate. Remember, the whole thing about a team is giving your buyer agents and your listing agents lots of leads that they know how to convert. So they should be getting a lot of deals through that. Okay. So leads generated by the individual, you may want to pay them 60%. buyer agents or real estate teams, on real estate teams rather, typically buyer agents is a 50-50 split, okay? The other was listings. I should have mentioned that, 40-60. That's the listing side. The buyer agent side, 50-50. Motivate your buyer agents to generate real estate leads, because what you can do is now, if an agent converts 50% for the first 15 transactions, then you can move them up to 60% for the next 15 and 70% for the remainder after 30 kind of thing. So you can look at the more deals they make, you can increase their share. Incentivize your buyer agents to keep production high. So you want to make sure that their incentive is there to keep making more sales and more deals. Now, people ask me, in the roles that are like the administrative roles, where you pay them a salary, again, it depends on if they're handling the majority of all the responsibilities, that might be somebody you might have to pay 40, 50, 60, 60,000 a year, 40, 50,000 a year plus bonuses. But you're trying to have your salary portion, the goal, as low as possible, and give the bonuses if a deal comes in, if a listing comes in, and you were managing part of it, the transaction coordinator gets a bonus when a deal, even if it's only 5% or 3%, but they're making additional money. So there's always got to be commission on every role in your company. But in some cases, it'll be a salary plus a bonus. The bonus is going to be a lot less, obviously, than the agents that are buyer's agents or selling agents or inside sales agents, okay, that are managing the conversion strategy. They're going to get a higher bonus than a transaction coordinator, for example. So these are some ideas around that. Recruiting and wealth building. I don't know if you're aware, but, we have at HomeLife a system. I mean, it's all based on offices and whether or not they choose to move in that direction. A mentor recruit team members. Their job is to recruit team members from other brokerages to join the brokerage and train them to also be successful. And now the company pays that agent who recruited Mary over here. And every time she makes a sale, gets a listing that gets sold, that mentor that recruited them gets a small percentage. They might get, $100, $200, $400, 1%, 2%, 5%. That's up to the individual office team that's doing this. But the great thing is that there are people out there that are working for us that are getting a lot of extra income just because they're helping recruit. This model is great for those who like to teach and have skills in that area. It's a great passive income. You could be retired and this person is still working for the company, still making deals. That doesn't stop when you retire. It only stops when that person who you influence to come join the company quits and goes elsewhere. That's the only time that stops. You'll get a small percentage forever. As long as that agent is with the company, you're going to get a percentage. So, hey, now I know roughly how long this takes. I wasn't sure. I hope there are some questions. I hope I've given you ideas and thoughts about a team, the work that's involved. I want to thank all of you for being here. Let me just go back to the question area. And thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate that very, very, very much. I hope you've learned. I hope it helped you, inspired you, because truthfully, there's a lot of money to be made for the right people here. So let me look and see if I can see any questions. These are questions. Can you please email me the business plan? Yeah, the people who want a business plan, please, or anything that I said that I can send you, send me an email to training@HomeLife. Don't wait for me to send it to you. You got to email me, training@HomeLife, and just say business plan. I will be happy to send it to you. No problem at all. What's the name of the company you can buy leads? There's many, but the one that I mentioned, I believe, was Bold Leads. And there's another one called realestateleads.ca, boldleads.com, realestateleads.ca. I mean, there are all kinds of companies. Those are two companies that I know. So hopefully that helped you with that. Let me see if there's any others here. Oh, hi, Eugene. I hope you're still there. Thank you. Great to see you too. Will the video be shared in the presentation along with the certificates? Yes. I will ask Gerv to give you a copy of the video as well. So HomeLife office, I don't know which office you are. If you're still there, I would be happy to make sure you get a copy of the video. Yes. And anybody else, you'll all get a copy of this. If you've stayed to the end, you'll get it. So I appreciate everything here, and we had a nice, decent crowd. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Have yourselves a wonderful day. And the next course that I'm teaching, by the way, is May 3. That's the mortgage update. It's not me teaching that. And then May 10, creating your personal brand. So if you've never created a personal brand, that's on May 10. Anyways, have a great day. Thank you, thank you, thank you once again. I appreciate those little emojis. Appreciate it a lot. Thanks a lot. Take care.